The Paracave Podcast, proudly brought to you by major sponsor Jack's Pale Ale, exclusively available at Parramatta Eels Club, Shannon Cooney from Glenmore Park Realty, BTZD Clothing, and the official media partner of the Paracave Podcast, the Parramatta Times.
Welcome to another episode of the Paracave Podcast. And now over to your host, Troy Warner, broadcasting live from the world-famous Paracave.
All right, welcome back here to the Weekend Sports Wrap. So you're here with the Duckman, and we've got special guest Troy Warner on from the Paracave Podcast. Troy, how you going?
Yeah, going fantastic, Duckman. Looking forward to another great round of rugby league. And look, so far already we've seen some great tries scored by Kyle Felt and also the Hammer as well, but hoping my Eels can get up. But look, an Origin audition weekend for some players this weekend, that is for sure. But happy to be here to talk NRL.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we get started, I just want to see, how much are you into T20 cricket, out of curiosity?
Look, a little bit interested, but not really. I don't get up and watch the World Cup games overseas, but generally the ones in Australia I'll watch. But I certainly keep up to date sort of with the results on news flashes and the like. But why? What's happening?
Oh, you two won't be watching the World Superpowers Namibia take on England in the T20 cricket tomorrow?
No, I won't.
3:30 a.m.
No, I won't be watching that, but I will be catching the result, no doubt. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, I know England think they're going to win because I've had an argument with some people online about it last couple of days. I said, oh, look at that. They get to play the World Superpowers in T20 cricket in a couple of days. And someone told me my head's as thick as a castle wall and said, that's all right, because I live in Australia and you live in Darlington in England. Last time I checked, it rains there every day and it's miserable. But then again, you look like a miserable person too. So,
well, didn't the USA beat Pakistan the other day, was it?
Yeah, that wasn't suspicious, was it? So they had to get 16 off the last over, and they did. Like, how suspicious is that? When the bowler that was bowling, that's been done for match fixing in the past, bowled about 3 wides, and a couple of them got whacked for 4. So that's not suspicious at all, is it? So,
no, that's it.
I'm not saying he did anything untoward, but it happened on his bowling, and they needed to get lots of runs off that over. So it's very coincidental. I actually like it that they're doing it. I said to Richard before, I don't mind the T20 World Cup is going down this avenue, bringing all the other countries in, because it helps them expand and grow the game. What I think they should do, which would be good, is have like a Tier 2 World Cup as well. So countries outside maybe the top 8 in the world, so you get the bottom couple in the Tier 1 nations, and then these other guys play off against each other and see who can win the best of the rest, because I think that will make it a bit more competitive and raise extra interest. Still have this World Cup as well, but they need to have something tangible for those other sides as well, so they've got a good chance of winning.
Yeah, look, that is a really good idea, and if you could translate that to NRL, I mean, we see the World Cup every 4 years, and it just seems to be Australia, New Zealand, potentially England, although we have seen Samoa and Tonga on the rise lately. But no, that would be a great idea if you had like a Tier 2 World Cup maybe going on at the same time with these lesser nations that can't make the Tier 1, obviously, because there's a lot of countries that play rugby league, including the USA and Jamaica and Macedonia and look, Thailand, Japan. Look, there's heaps of countries that play rugby league. So yeah, if you could have a Tier 2 World Cup going on at the same time as a Tier 1, that would certainly be interesting.
That's what I think they should do, right? So I don't want to discredit what's happening with the World Cup. I like that they're doing it with T20 cricket, and it just shows that want to take some innovative ideas forward. Do we expect any of those countries to do well? Probably not, but it gives them an opportunity to compete at world level. So why not make it run the Tier 2 World Cup for rugby league at the same time? And like I said, you get Russia's and Romania's, all these places. So they've got European championships in rugby league. They've got Asian championships as well. Why not have all of that? Why not have?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like the next best 8 to 16 sides or whatever playing off against each other where it's competitive. They got a genuine chance. So you probably wouldn't drop Samoa and Tonga. You probably have the best 8 in the world compete in the top tier and have these other guys playing at the same times and same places, and they get to show what they can do. So I think it's good for rugby league.
Yeah, definitely. That sounds like a cracker of an idea, and maybe that could happen in maybe not the next World Cup, maybe the one after. But yeah, definitely get all the rugby league nations playing at a World Cup together, and look, the world will be watching. And look, it certainly will be interesting to see some other countries play rugby league, and we wouldn't be able to tip the winners, I don't think, but it'd certainly be interesting because the international game is something that probably needs more exposure, and it'd be great to see, a 32 team World Cup, but have your tier 1 and your tier 2, and it'd be great to see.
Oh, absolutely. So I definitely think that should be something that gets explored and looked at. So I keep saying and talking about innovation for the game, so that is it's a positive step forward. So it might not be the world's best idea, but I'm open to people suggesting better ideas. So, or any ideas at the moment, we'll take anything on, have a look at it. I just want all the England fans to know that I don't think they're going to win the T20 World Cup. If you don't like it, 0434 440 553. Message in. It's from the Duckman. I think is it going to get bombed out? Maybe not now. Give it another week or two, and you'll feel the disappointment of another bitter loss there, and then having to go back to England. So enjoy it. So there you go. All right, let's get back into the football so you can message about this as well. So just to make sure I'm not alienating anyone here, we're going to have a shot at some Queensland fans tonight too. Parramatta, let's look at a coaching job here. So there's 4 front runners here. Jason Demetrio, is he up the top of the list or what? They're saying that Trent Barrett
is. The 4 front runners are Josh Hannay, Jason Riles. Look, to be honest, I've forgotten the other ones, to be honest, but they're the top 2, definitely. Trent Barrett has put his hat into the ring as well. Jason Demetrio.
And Michael Checker
as well. Jason Demetrio, as you mentioned, just then had a meeting with the Eels yesterday, apparently. So Michael Maguire has apparently pulled out of the race to concentrate on the New South Wales State of Origin side. So look, it is a real interesting position at the moment. It's a big club, the Parramatta Eels in Western Sydney. So it looks like they potentially are going to get a rookie coach, but maybe a experienced coach is what they need at such a big club. Look, the crazy part about it is I did mention the other day that I wouldn't mind the actual fact of Michael Checker being the head coach. People will probably laugh at me and call me crazy about that, but I don't know. I just think you would probably know more about him than myself, but he has coached rugby league in Lebanon in a World Cup and got them pretty well high up in there. And I think a new, fresh set of eyes. He has spoken on a podcast before and said that he would be interested in rugby league coaching. He has done some at the Roosters previously under Trent Robinson. So yeah, maybe a fresh set of eyes is what Parramatta needs, but it looks like Josh Hannay, Jason Riles, and potentially Trent Barrett are the front runners there. A lot of Parramatta fans are probably disappointed if Trent Barrett gets the job because of his previous coaching jobs at Manly and the Bulldogs. We'll just have to wait and see what happens.
I wouldn't be worried about his previous coaching jobs where he's coached. I just don't think he can do it. I don't think he's got the ability to do it. I would have looked at Justin Holbrook for all money, but I'm pretty sure that he's got some sort of deal with the Roosters where he needs to give him service for getting signed. That's part of the deal. So I pretty much think he would be next in line to take over from Trent Robinson if Trent Robinson is to leave. So I don't see the Roosters going after anyone. Now LC would go there. Who's going to end up Parramatta? I don't know. Checker would be a different option, I can tell you that. And he has played rugby league before he went to rugby union. He did play rugby union most of his life, and he played for the Wallabies and that sort of stuff too. He did do some coaching as well as doing Lebanon and that sort of stuff. Pretty sure he's done some assistant coaching in Super League in the UK while he's over there coaching rugby too, because the rugby coaching at that level, if you're not coaching the absolute top level, the next year down is nearly part-time. So it actually frees up a bit of time to be able to do that. He would be a good coach to get in. Not sure if he'd be the right coach to get in as head coach, but he's his own person. I can tell you that right now. He definitely wouldn't be taking crap from players and that sort of stuff. He'll drive it his own way. And I think he would be a better signing than at least Trent Barrett, because he knows what he wants to do and how to make systems work. So the technical aspects between rugby league to rugby union, they're not that massive with what he's got to look at. Even at a professional level, he would be able to pretty much easily do that. The question is, the Eels fans probably wouldn't want him to be there because effectively untested at a high level in rugby league. So, but what's the difference between him or Josh Hannay or anything else? The only thing I suppose people say is they're from a 100% rugby league background. He's from a rugby background.
Yeah, and look, the interesting point about Michael Cheika as well, I think at the last Rugby League World Cup where he was coaching Lebanon, he was also coaching Argentina at the same time as well. So he'd play Lebanon would play a game, and then I think Argentina had some test matches as well at the same time in England, and he was coaching both teams at the same time. So amazing effort there. But look, he will be probably a bit down on the list. I think Parramatta will go for someone who has been in rugby league for a long time. We've seen Jason Riles be an assistant at the Roosters and the Melbourne Storm for a long time. He has been wanting that Melbourne Storm job for a while now, but Craig Bellamy, he just seems to keep on coaching and coaching. He's going on again next year as well, and he knocked back the Dragons job before Shane Flanagan got it. Shane Flanagan would have been a great fit at Parramatta, but he's got the Dragons job now. Josh Hannay, he's the assistant coach currently for the Queensland Origin team and has been for a few years now with Billy Slater, and he has done an interim job for the Cronulla Sharks and is the current assistant coach at the Sharks as well. So some high praise on him as well. So look, for Parramatta fans, including myself, would it be good to see that this gets wrapped up pretty soon, if not in the next couple of weeks, because I mean it is a big decision for this club, but I think players, fans, members just want to know who the coach is going to be for 2025.
Yeah, pretty sure that Parramatta generally have, if you're a half-decent coach, they generally have a pretty good history of having a coach for a long period of time. Look at Brian Smith. Look, John Money was there for a few years. They've had a habit of having long-term coaches. So you could go in there knowing that would be all right. Daniel Anderson was there till he decided he didn't want to be there anymore. So that's happened there. And now got Brad Arthur has just been there until effectively they flicked it. Well, it was an odd decision, right? Because I don't think Trent Barrett was the right guy to take on the job. So is Peter Sharp at Parramatta again now? So I heard something about Peter Sharp being there again today. So he's not going to coach, but he's going to be able to help direct and guide things around. Is he involved with Parramatta?
No, I don't think so. I think he potentially is at the Bulldogs, I think, from memory. But he wouldn't be coaching. It definitely probably could come as a recruitment manager or just a off-field sort of influence at the club. I think he's maybe a recruitment person at the Bulldogs. I think the last time I heard, I could be totally wrong about that, but he's definitely not at Parramatta at the moment.
Yeah, pretty sure Peter Sharp, he was at Parramatta too for a couple of years.
He was,
doing stuff after he finished playing. So he knows what it takes. So I'll throw a completely left field one out no one's spoken about. But what I would look at to help Parramatta get out of the trouble here for like 3 to 4 years, I suppose. They need someone that's going to be able to coach for a while but can do the job. Now, this one's way out of left field.
Okay, I'm interested to hear who this is.
Michael Potter. So Michael Potter.
Yeah, okay. He did do a little bit.
He's got the ability to do it. Probably a little bit old, so that might go against him. But the thing that Michael Potter's got, and this is where it's going to grind the Eels fans, play for Canterbury, right? So that's not going to go down the world's best. And I think Michael Potter. So the only thing stopping that is I'm pretty sure he might be committed pretty hard in with Canterbury at the moment after he went in there and took over the interim role before Cameron Ciraldo came in. But yeah, as a left field option, he's a pretty good option to take, right? Because he's going to be able to walk in there. He's got the ability to be able to get the job done. The problem is it might be so much pro Bulldogs might have trouble fitting in with what Parramatta want culture-wise. But it would be able to do that. It'd be his own person. You wouldn't have to worry about being indecisive or not being sure if he's going to be able to do the job. You know what he's going to be able to do and bring on the field. So I actually thought the job at Gold Coast before Des Hasler got it, that might have been a good fit for Michael Potter too.
Yeah, well, he would have a pretty good relationship with the players that are, or most of the players that are there now, because I think it was either last year or the year before he was an assistant coach under Brad Arthur at Parramatta, so he has been there before. But as you said, he's pretty entrenched at the moment at the Bulldogs. So, but he did show when was it Trent Barrett who got the sack at the Bulldogs. I think he took over from him, Michael Potter, and he did a pretty reasonable job before Cameron Ciraldo came in, and so he can coach and give him the right group of players. He could be a good fit, but I haven't heard his name mentioned in any talks with Parramatta.
Yeah, I would think at the moment, by the look of it, they want to go for a younger coach, and they're probably looking for another 5 to 10 year guy, like they have with Brian Smith and Brad Arthur. That's going to be there for quite a long period of time. So that on its own would probably rule Michael Potter out, because I'm pretty sure he would be punching 60 now, so or up around that way anyway. So whereas you got Josh Hannay like being in his early 40s, Riles around the same level, like late 30s, early 40s. So those guys are going to be there. Potentially, like if they coach for as long as Bellamy, they're looking 10, 15, 20 years. So that's the picture you want to have. So I'm not sure that getting Michael Potter is like that, going to fit that model there. So yeah, he would do a good job, but not sure if he will do a job at Parramatta need. Let's get into the games anyway. So I've just seen the other game that's on now. Raiders and Cowboys is killing me. Sharks took on the Dolphins. I forgot to put my tips in just to make sure that I get absolute minimum points this week. And the Dolphins got up 30 points to 28. So I got given the Sharks because I set it up at the start of the season. If you forget to put your tips in, you get the home teams. Normally you get the away teams. But no, let's do something fair this year. I'll just make sure everyone gets home teams. Well, the home teams stink this year. So if you forget to put your tips in, you get burned, right? So the Sharks lost last night. I heard they want to come out of TAFE. The Dolphins were up. The Sharks got a try. Nico Hines was kicking to tie up the game, and he sprayed it wide. So what did you think of that game last night?
Well, it was a very different sort of a game. This one, the Dolphins got out to a 22-0 lead. The Sharks came back towards half-time there, 22-12, so they did get themselves back into the game. It was 5 tries all, 4 conversions all. The only difference in the end was a penalty goal to Jermaine Asako. But the massive highlight of the night was Hamiso Tabuai-Fido's second try. It was basically, his first try that he scored. It was basically a 90-metre effort, swerving, getting through the gaps, breaking the line, and then just his speed. If you can jump onto YouTube or the NRL website and check out the highlights of that one, it was an absolute cracker of a try, maybe the try of the year at the moment. But the Dolphins, they just won't go away. They're in 4th position at the moment. A good win for them against the Sharks, who are in 2nd at the moment. But look, they are a team that have surprised a lot of people. It's only their, I think it could be their first win in Sydney. I could be wrong about that, but they haven't played many games this year in Sydney. I think this might have been their first trip, which is hard to believe after 15 rounds, but that's the way it was. And they got the job done. So they are a pretty serious football team at the moment, and they could be finals bound for the first time. For the Sharks, look, it was disappointing in front of their home fans. As you mentioned there, Nico Hines, he did didn't convert that last goal that would have taken it to golden point. But they just started off too slow and they clawed their way back, but it was too late.
Yeah, so, it's definitely it is the Dolphins' first win in Sydney. And also, the hammer is try. They reckon that it was right up there. I heard Maroon say reckons that's the best try he's seen in rugby league in the last 40 years. So that's a big call.
That is a massive call. That is a massive call because there has been some crackers, including Eric Grove Sr. at the SCG against Canterbury. But I might be a bit biased there, but that is a massive call.
Yeah, so one of the best tries, you're going to have to go away and have a look at this one. Darren South for St. George. Trying to remember, did they play against Cronulla or did they play against South? So it was in 1990 or 91, and it was pouring down rain. Ball got kicked out. It still had a level football. I kicked into the in goal, and he took it on the in goal, beat 2 or 3 players in the try line, got out, and then went the length of the field and scored on the post after he beat about 6 players on his own. So it's unreal stuff. So have to look at that one if you can find it. You'll be able to find it. I found it a little while ago by accident on YouTube, but no, I haven't seen this one. I'm pretty sure it would have been better than that. Seen Brett Mullen score some good tries, but a massive call.
Brett Mullen scored some tries. Billy Slater in Origin.
Yeah, State of Origin.
Semi Radradra, length of the field job against South Sydney. It's just some of these finishes these days in the corner post with the new corner post rule. I mean, I think when people think of great tries, they always think of, I guess, length of the field jobs, but some of these finishes by these wingers these days, with that new corner post rule that's come in a few years ago now, they are just amazing as well.
Yeah, I still like Greg Dowling's try scored in the State of Origin when the ball come off the post and he dived and caught it and dived under the post because that was wet as anything and it's just the maddest looking try. So probably not right up there. I remember another try. 1999 grand final when Nathan Blacklock's intercept he took and ran a length for the field against Melbourne. So that was a phenomenal try too. So just how explosive it was. So Melbourne were about to score when he did that. It was unreal. So let's kick on to the other game. We're talking about tries. We might have a look at that in the next couple of weeks. Who scored some exceptional tries and then we'll throw it out there to everyone.
No worries. Sounds good.
Yeah. The Raiders up against the Cowboys. So the Cowboys are up 28-0 at halftime, and now the Raiders got back into it a little bit, 28 points to 6. Pretty sure I picked the Raiders, so the Raiders are dead set, chopping my tips. Not very happy about that. And it's at Canberra. It's in the cold. Apparently, so I heard today, Laurie Daly said that Canberra turned the heaters on in winter too for the away team. So they feel nice and comfortable and get warm and relaxed and that. So before they go out on the field and it's crap, and when they come back in, they got no hot water in the showers and stuff. So they get all warm and comfortable, go out, and then it's just garbage, and they come back and get garbage back. So you reckon you'd be paid off with Ricky Stewart at the moment, down 28-6?
Yeah, definitely. 22-0 at half-time. Cowboys, they had a good win last week against the Roosters, but the Raiders back at home. Crucial game for them. They are in 6th spot on the ladder on 18 points. If a couple other sides win this weekend, they could fall out of the 8. So, look, only 16 and a half minutes to go. But just when we're talking about tries scored, Kyle Felt his second try in this game as well. Check this one out. That was an amazing try. And as we said, people think of length of the field tries, but this was close to the line. He basically contorted his body just to try and get that ball down with the corner post rule, as I said before now, and stay in the field of play. So that was a great try by Kyle Felt, who is the Cowboys' leading try scorer of all time. So, look, the Raiders at the moment, they'll be disappointed about this result, and I think it's going to go the way of the Cowboys in this one at the moment by the way it's going.
Yeah, so I reckon the NRL should set something up so that you can't go out of the field of play, and if you do, you can go out of the field of play to catch the ball and score a try night, stuff like the big diving tries in the corner. you should set it up with a ball so you get an electric zap if you take it over into touch. So if you hold on to it and you can hold on with the electric zap that gives you a whack of 240 volts or whatever, then good luck you get the try. So I'm just trying to think outside the box how they can make it more interesting. Then they'll make it, if you score a try then you really deserve it.
Yeah, well, that sounds interesting. You might have to go on to Peter V'landys about that one and see how you go.
Yeah, sure. Not sure he's going to get on board straight away that one, unfortunately. So we'll try to go through the test phase first and see if we don't kill any players.
Yeah.
The Rabbitohs up against the Broncos tonight. So the Broncos had a few people pull out. The Rabbitohs, they just haven't been very good lately. So I'm going for the Broncos in this one. But the Broncos are missing a fair few guys too, I think.
Yeah, look, I've actually tipped the Rabbitohs in this one. I think they had a big win against the Titans last week there up in Queensland. They're back at home in front of their fans. Cameron Murray has come back onto the bench after injury for the South Sydney Rabbitohs, so that's a big in for them. Latrell Mitchell as well, he had a good game last week against the Titans. He'll want to back that up again with his name being mentioned about being the replacement for Joseph Suaalii in State of Origin, so he will want to have another big game just to try and get into that squad. The Brisbane Broncos, obviously no Reece Walsh as well at fullback. Still no Adam Reynolds. He's still out for a while. So, look, the Rabbitohs will do it tough against the Broncos. As you mentioned, they haven't been playing the best of football this season. I think last weekend's win against the Titans will give them confidence going into this game, and being on a Friday night, and I think back at home, I think the Rabbitohs will get the win.
Yeah, so it is up there. So the Rabbitohs have got a good chance of being able to get the win. I just think they're out of touch a bit, and really, if Latrell is getting motivated now because he's got a chance being in State of Origin, if the only reason why you get motivated is that, like, I don't think it's the only reason, but that's what it looks like, right? So he's playing good all of a sudden when he knows he's in the ringer to get a spot again. So you would expect him just to be aiming up every week when he's pretty much our best player.
Yeah, he is probably their best player. He has been under a lot of pressure this year, obviously doing a few mistakes on the field. I think there's been one or two sin binnings in the past this year. Off field as well, I guess he has been struggling a little bit, but now he's back, and look, as I said, he scored a couple of tries I think last week. Confidence is back. He's in a good space. He's got his mate Cody Walker back in the team as well now, so that's always a good thing there. They have a good combination together, and yeah, I don't think necessarily State of Origin was his motivation to perform, but it certainly helps to get back into that team.
No, it definitely is, yeah. West Tigers are up against the Titans. That is tomorrow, so I'm expecting the Titans to win even without David Fafita. They were very good the other week, so they've been pretty good lately, animated down there at the bottom of the table. I think West Tigers, there's lots of turbulence there. The internal stuff is starting to come out again, even though Shane Richardson's trying to hose it down. Lockie Galvin, you heard Joey come out the other day and said, mate, stand there and fight for your position. Just show what you got. Show the older guys up, do what you need to do. So I think he should stay. I reckon they can build a bit of a dynasty thing with Luai and Coruscant and that, if they keep adding a couple of extra players here and there. So they need to do a rebuild. If they don't do a rebuild, they're going to get the same thing again next year. They might just move up a little bit because they've got a couple of extra good players. So they need to pretty much sweep the broom through the place, I'm thinking.
Well, just like when a player re-signs for their club, they generally come out that game and have a cracker of a game. Maybe the Tigers might do the same thing as well, because it was announced today that Leichhardt Oval is going to get a $40 million facelift thanks to I think it's the federal government, the state government and the local council as well. So they're going to get a facelift over the coming years, so that was good news for Leichhardt Oval and Tigers fans. So maybe they might just come out and perform because of that. But the interesting thing there is Api Coruscant is at halfback, so Yeah, that's an interesting one. We all know him as a hooker, but today he's been named, or Tuesday he got named as captain and at halfback, so that'll be interesting along with Aiden Caesar. The Titans, they've come off a massive loss to the Rabbitohs, as I just mentioned. This game could go anyway. The Tigers, they're looking at I think it's their 10th straight loss if they lose. So they have to turn it around sometime, you would like to think, but they've had a lot of off-field distractions, as you just mentioned there. Lockie Galvin, the coach and CEO away in bye week. They've had a lot of off-field distractions. They think they are committed to it. We'll just have to see if they are on the field. Like the Dragons when they play at Wynn Stadium, the Tigers, they seem to play a bit better at Leichhardt. I'm not 100% sure why, but 3 p.m. on a Saturday, I've still tipped the Titans in this one.
Yeah, I think the Titans will get the win there. So the Titans are pretty good at the moment. They're not really playing too bad. And they've picked up one of their rugby union guys. Who did they pick up the other day? Can't remember. Picked up one of the fringe Wallaby players. He's not really doing too much anyway. So just sit there and watch around what happens next couple of years. I think they're going to pick up a lot of guys. Carter Gordon it was.
Yeah.
I think they're going to pick up a couple of young, talented guys.
Rebels.
Yeah. So he's a very good young, talented guy. So we'll see how he goes. He would be similar, I suppose, to like James O'Connor, the way he plays. So he's not quite that level, right? James O'Connor is very good, but we'll see how he goes and how he fits in. We'll keep on kicking on here. Warriors up against the Storm, even though it's at New Zealand tomorrow. I'm pretty sure I picked the Storm for this one. I think the Storm are going to be pretty hard to beat now moving forward, and they're going to start taking like a high percentage of wins. They're probably going to get the minor premiership too. So the Sharks just keep bombing games here and there, and the Storm are going to be pretty consistent from what I've seen so far this year.
Yeah, well, this is an interesting one. I think the Warriors will be looking for another sellout over there in New Zealand, so a massive thumbs up to the crowds over there. They've had a few this year, so they go with the bookies anyway. They're going in as favourites, very slight favourites against the Storm. The Storm have a good record against the Warriors, something ridiculous like a massive 12-game winning streak or something like that against the Warriors dating back, 8 years or something, so it's a long time since the Warriors have beaten the Storm, so they're going up against it. The Warriors do get Sean Johnson back at halfback, so their leader comes back there. Mitchell Barnett has re-signed with the Warriors until the end of 2027, so that's good news for Mitchell and also the Warriors as well. He was, I think, 19th, 20th man for State of Origin, so he's on the verge of cracking New South Wales. For the Storm, well, look, they are in first position. They never seem to go away in terms of, they never fall off the perch. They always seem to be up there in finals contention and right up there at the top of the ladder. Who knows what a road trip to New Zealand will do. I've actually tipped the Warriors in this one. I think they can get the win. I think that win against Penrith up at Magic Round has just given them another bit of confidence, a big boost, and they've been playing some good footy. They had a good win against the Cowboys, I think it was last week, and a week before that up in Townsville, and they've just given them confidence. So I've actually tipped the Warriors in this one.
Yeah, there you go. So they're going to need a bit of luck there on their side because the Storm will stack it up. Funny thing is, the Storm have their little flat spots. This is around the time of the year they do it. So a lot of the Origin sides do that. That's why some sides won't be too bothered about it. The next game, Eels against the Roosters. So you'll be hoping that Eels win. I realistically think the Roosters will. Clint Gufson has got to stop getting upset about things the referees do or don't do. Dylan Brown wasn't going to make that tackle last week. It was not going to happen. So
he got taken out.
Yeah, he didn't really get taken out. Not like what Reece Walsh got taken out. So that's a different thing. But yeah, it's a fair call. But Guffo's still upset about it now. He needs to let it go, or it's going to boat anchor him down. I would expect that my favourite player, Joey Manu, is going to cause a lot of damage here. So for the Eels, I think he's going to turn it on before the end of the season. So we'll see what happens in that game.
Yeah, big game for Parramatta. If other results go the way of the Titans and Rabbitohs winning and the Eels losing, the Eels could go down as far as 16th spot on the ladder. So it's a big game for Parramatta. Look, they have turned a corner since Clint Gutherson and Mitchell Moses came back, although last weekend's the second half for Mitchell Moses was a bit he played a bit of a disappearing act. He wasn't seen much in that second half against the Bulldogs. The first half it was okay, but the second half he was hardly anywhere that I saw anyway. So a big game for Parramatta back at home. The Roosters, as you mentioned, Joey Manu, your favourite Roosters player, he will be a danger man for Parramatta. He just can get in some form, and I expect some high crossfield kicks for Daniel Tupou and Dom Young as well, who's just been ruled out of this game. So Michael Jennings actually comes into the centre position for the Roosters in jumper number 18. So Michael Jennings playing against his old club Parramatta, so that'll be interesting there. Look, a lot of people have tipped the Roosters. I've tipped Parramatta to win. Maybe that's just me coming out and saying that as a fan, but I think they can do it. Again, like the Dragons, like the Warriors, they're a different side at home. They tend to lift a little bit. They have had a couple of losses at home this year, but they tend to get the job done more times than not at home.
Yeah, so Parramatta will do all right. I just think the Roosters are too good on a roll at the moment, like the Storm are on a pretty big roll as well at the moment. Seagulls up against the Dragons. I actually think the Dragons are going to go to Manly and win this one. I think Daly Cherry Evans is on tired legs, so he'll be starting to feel fatigue from State of Origin now. So yeah, he's a professional and all that sort of stuff. But I think the Dragons are good enough at the moment to probably go good for 2 games and drop one. Go good for 2 games and drop one. And I think they're kind of in the role where they might be able to do that on the back of a win they had against Penrith the other week. They might be able to turn it on again, and they might be able to catch the Seagulls out on the at the moment.
Yeah, look, a chance for the Dragons to jump into the top 8 if they win this game. Before the season, Coach Shane Flanagan said that Manly were going to be the team to beat in this premiership. From what he saw, the Dragons actually beat the Sea Eagles down in Wollongong previously this year, but again at 4 Points Park, I think that the Sea Eagles will stand up. As you mentioned, Daly Cherry Evans on the old legs. Well, he was probably he got man of the match, I think, in game 1 of Origin.
Average.
So he did get game 1 man of the match in Origin. They didn't. Ruben Garrick had an off day with the boot last week against Penrith. Tommy Talau, he scored 4 tries against the defending premiers, so that was a massive effort from him. But I am tipping the Sea Eagles in this one, although as you mentioned, the Dragons, they can win a couple, lose a couple. Shane Flanagan, though, has given them confidence in this team. News during the week that Ben Hunt is looking to extend a 1-year extension on his contract to go to the end of 2026. So some good news there for Dragons fans, considering at the start of the year he was potentially looking at trying to get out of his contract. So also talked today, I think it was, that the Dragons are interested in Damien Cook from South Sydney as a hooker for their team. So some interesting news there. But I think Sea Eagles will get the win in this one.
Yeah, I think Damien Cook will be a good pick-up there. Ruben Garrick, I reckon he's been playing the wrong position for about the last 5 years as well, by the way. So I actually think he should play a fullback, and they should move Tom Trbojevic into centre, because that'll change how his running needs to be, and it might actually save his hamstring that gives him so many problems. So he'll still be able to turn it on and open it up and all that sort of stuff. But Manly have just got some hamstring injuries there. They've got him. They've got who's the winger they've got? I can't remember his name now off the top of my head. Scored some mad tries.
Jason Saab, he's back though.
That's it, yeah, Jason Saab,
yeah, he's back playing this weekend.
Yeah, so he can turn it on and he runs super quick too. But he changed how he trains with his sprinting now, and it's been affecting his output now. So he's getting injuries and stuff like he's doing longer range sprints, and it just trains differently. And it's interesting that he's picking up injuries. And Tom Trebojevic, where he's just got to not race people up the course, right? So simple as. But yeah, that's why I actually think Ruben Garrick in the fullback wouldn't be a bad option, right? So just think outside the square, and he would be on the verge seriously of New South Wales selection too. So because he just gets the job done. He's like not one of these big super flashy superstars you're going to hear all about, but he's a guy at the end of his career is going to play 150, 200 games plus, and his stats will be good, and you'll be going, oh, why didn't he play State of Origin? Well, because they don't look at him for no particular reason at all, because he's a good player. We'll kick on to the next game now. So the Knights up against the Panthers. I think the Knights are going to have a few problems in this one. So Penrith turn up and have a crack. The Knights may well have a few issues there to worry about. Is Kalen Ponga playing? I don't think he is.
No, he is still out. Fletcher Sharp, who made his debut against the Storm last week in the centre position, he goes back to fullback. Bradman Best is back for the Newcastle Knights, so he potentially is pushing for an Origin spot. He is one name that has been mentioned. He played in Game 3 last year. The Storm, they went down to the Knights went down to the Storm last week in a high-scoring affair. Dylan Edwards returns for the Panthers from that quad injury that kept him out of Origin 1. So that's good news for the Panthers. Look, Dane Laurie, he had a massive game last week against the Sea Eagles. He's on the interchange bench, so some firepower off the bench there. Look, it's going to be tough for the Newcastle Knights, even at home. Must mention too that this whole round is beanies for brain cancer round as well. So this game is culminating in about 60 trekkers. They started this morning from the Sydney Cricket Ground, I think it was, Allianz Stadium, and they're making their way up to Newcastle for this game, 150 kilometres or so to this game, so they'll be on show at this game as well. And also we must mention, as I said, beanies for brain cancer round. The beanies will be sold at all games this year, this round. So if you can get a beanie, I think they're $25. You'll be helping the Mark Hughes Foundation raise money for brain cancer research. I think in the 8 years that it has been running, he's raised, or the foundation has raised over $30 million, and they are also in selected IGA stores and also Lowe's Australia stores as well. So if you can get a beanie, support the foundation, support the chase for cancer research. They have some great designs. I'll be getting one this weekend as well, so very important round.
Yeah, have to promote that. So, for people that don't know, Mark Hughes got diagnosed with brain cancer back in July 2013, and there you go. He's just having headaches and blurred vision. That was in June, and a month later found out he had brain cancer. So he went and saw his GP, and then had some CT scans and found out had all that. So from that, he started the Mark Hughes Foundation. Now do fundraising for brain cancer. He lost all his hair at the time when they did that. So his nickname when he used to play football, Joey Johns reckons his name was Boozy Hughes, and he wasn't into manscaping, and then apparently all the guys ribbed him, so it's when they had all his chemo and everything like that, he lost all of his hair and everything. Has all come back since, and it's good to see he's in good health. It is for a really good cause and a good reason, so if you do support rugby league, it's a good opportunity. It was $20 for a beanie or something like that.
Yeah, I think they're $25, so every little bit helps.
Yeah, so it definitely does. So we want to make sure, or want to try to promote and do the best I can to promote good community-based causes that help raise funds for men's health, women's health, and just people's general health and that. And in general. So it's good that rugby league do this, and so it's good that Mark Hughes is also well and kicking around. So you wouldn't know when you chat to him or see him now. I haven't spoken to him, but hear him get interviewed and everything like that. And he's just like an enigmatic guy. He's good to chat to, and like he's a happy-go-lucky sort of bloke. So bad things happen to people. Sometimes you can't help it, but thankfully he's recovered from that, and he's done some really good things on the back of it. All right. So state of origin lineups. What are we doing? Who are we chopping? Like I'm going to start with Queensland side, right? So Reece Walsh. I need to cut Reece Walsh because he just won't be up for it. Right? So his concussion. He's just hammered now. So who do they pick at fullback?
Yeah, well, he's going to be monitored in terms of whether he should play or not. And look, I think it could be up to Reece whether he does play or not. He has to be, I guess, truthful to the doctors and Billy Slater about his condition. It was a pretty serious hit in Game 1. He's not playing for Brisbane last week or this week, so he won't have any match fitness under his belt before Origin, which is a big ask. Look, other suggestions that you could have in terms of if Reece doesn't play, we saw Selwyn Cobbo come on the field when Reece went off, so he is a option. You had Hamaso Tabuai-Fidow play in the centre. He moved to fullback when Reece went off, and then Selwyn came into the centre, so that will probably be a option there for Queensland if Reece doesn't play, and then there'll be a spot open on the bench.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be the way they go. Tom did, and I expect him to start. I don't think Munster will play because I think he's underdone as well. So that will stay there. I don't think they'll change too much else. So they're only going to just do that. New South Wales, so what do we do? Who comes in for Suoliti? In my opinion, I would be picking Burton straight off the bat. So and if Burton doesn't start straight off the bat, if he's not in the 17, something's wrong. He's got to be on the bench, right? Because we got exposed again. That's 2 games like this one. Nico Hines played in the centres last year in the first game because someone got injured and then he had to slide in there.
Yeah, I think, look, I know as much as you probably don't like him, I think Latrell Mitchell will get the spot in the centre position. He is a big game player. Origin is made for him. New South Wales needs some strike. They need to get this win to keep the series alive. So if he has a good game against the Broncos, which is coming up next tonight, then I think he will potentially get that centre spot. As I mentioned before, other names mentioned, Bradman Best has been mentioned. He played in Game 3 last year. Katoni Staggs, he hasn't been playing the best football this year. He's been pretty consistent, but probably not the best football to his likings. He's played Origin before as well, so there's a couple of names there as well. But I think Latrell will get that centre position.
Yeah, I think he'll get that. I think Tedesco will be out by the look of it, and Dylan Walker in. Dylan Edwards in because he's training at the start of the year. I don't think Tedesco did anything bad. I just think New South Wales wanted to go Michael Maguire with what he had, so that meant probably Edwards would come in. For the fact that they've talked about Mitchell Moses, said, I don't have to play half a game or he can get in, makes me think he's nearly a walk-up for Nico Hines. Nico Hines did struggle, so I think that would be an obvious swap. What else would you be changing? Like, I would seriously be looking at someone like Ruben Garrick because he can play, so he's got the ability to do it. But where would you put him? He wouldn't get a winger spot, and I can't see him getting a centre spot. So maybe would he be an extended squad player? And if New South Wales didn't go for Moses as the half, it'd have to be Keary.
Yeah, look, I think Mitchell probably has that spot sewn up, I think. He had a cracker against the Sharks on his return. As I mentioned before, a good first half, went missing in the second half, but again, he played in games 2 and 3 last year for New South Wales. His kicking game is invaluable. That's something that New South Wales missed in Game 1. In terms of a 5'8", you could put Matt Burton there. you could definitely put Matt Burton as number 14 as well. He could play that centre position, 5'8", half-back if needed.
Probably fullback as well if you needed to.
Could even slot into a lock position if need be. There's a bit of talk about Cameron Murray as well making a return to Origin. He's just had I think it's been about a 6-week layoff, potentially longer, with injury, but he's back tonight for the Rabbitohs. He has played Origin before, so potentially he might get a bench spot for that. But yeah, I agree, Matt Burton needs to be in that squad somewhere. He didn't get a start in game 1, but he should be in that game 2 squad. I don't think there'll be many other changes to the team. I think Spencer Leniu, he'll retain his spot on the bench. He was one of New South Wales' best. Maybe Hudson Young might miss out. I think you're right. Dylan Edwards will get that fullback spot because that's who Michael Maguire wanted originally in game 1. So I think Dylan will get that spot. As you said, even though James Tedesco didn't do anything wrong in game 1, I just think he'll go with Dylan Edwards. So I don't think there'll be mass changes, but there will be a few changes for this New South Wales side. Obviously, one forced change with Joseph Swali not playing due to suspension, so they've got one there. But the other ones, there'll be maybe a handful, maybe 4 changes, I reckon.
Yeah, Jimmy Smith thought that Isaiah Yeo would come into lock just because he's a ball playing lock, and the problem is the locks, they're the same, right? So they get something different. So that's why he said he would sacrifice the lock, or even like a Hudson Young potentially, carried the bigger guys on the bench, but make sure I had Burton or something on the bench as well, because he said New South Wales now in 2 games have been exposed like that for not having the right players on the bench to be able to cover up for what they want. So you really need to have fair utility. I remember New South Wales used to have Hasler on the bench for years as number 14, so he was able to do that series after series. So they were missing that, so someone that could do that, that would be something that you'd look at there. In the forwards, I'm not sure he'd change too much up, like maybe Isaiah Yeo is ball player. People go, oh, it's pedestrian, it's easy to pick. It's so easy to pick. How come Penrith do it to everyone all the time, man? So if everyone knows how they're going to play, why are they sitting third in the comps? They still do it to people. So even though people reckon it's easy to pick.
Yeah, look, I think we have seen in the last few years, definitely, I think Penrith players, I guess with all those connections with each other, sort of haven't struggled. They haven't struggled, but they haven't got the wins for New South Wales across the board. Everyone thinks, yeah, but the Penrith Panthers, they've won the last 3 comps. They should transform that into Origin, but Origin is a different game, and they haven't been able to do that. We all have heard that Nathan Cleary is possibly the world's best player, but a lot of people have said that he hasn't done it at Origin level. Well, as I said, it's a different beast, a state of origin compared to Clubland, but that is potentially one move that Michael Maguire will go, and I guess we'll find out on, I think it will be Sunday night that the Game 2 team gets named. I think Queensland, they always tend to go on Monday morning about 10 o'clock for their side.
Yeah, they do it deliberately. What New South Wales should do is probably not even name the squad until 1 hour before the kick-off. Just have like 30 guys in the squad and just train them all again, no training gear, nothing like that. And then just all rock up and tell everyone, the team, like 63 minutes before the kickoff, so you got 3 minutes to get your stuff on. And then there you go, Queensland be going, oh, you can't do that. So they've done that sort of stuff before, so yeah, there you go. All right, so what do you got on the Paracade podcast this week coming up, Troy?
I've got out at the moment an interview with David Violecki, former Parramatta Eels, Manly and Wigan Warriors player. A really interesting chat, someone we haven't heard from, I guess, in a while, but a lot of good Parramatta Eels content in there. Even rugby league fans would like that one as well. I've got a game day preview of the Roosters and Eels game tomorrow out now as well, so you can have a listen to that one before the game. I'll have a replay chat of this one as well. And just before I go, a shout out to Eric Grove Jr. and Eric Grove Sr. as well. They are the co-coaches of the Campbelltown City Kangaroos open age women's side, who have made the bottom tier grand final, so the silver grand final in the open age women's side. That game will be played tomorrow, 4:15 p.m. at Campbelltown Stadium, so they're in that grand final. So there's a top four and a bottom four. They've made the bottom four grand final, so good luck to the two gurus and their team and the women as well in that grand final.
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations and good luck to them. And on Sunday, I'll be out at Smurry Stadium calling the women's semi-finals in the Penrith Comp. So I've got the under-18s game, Toongabbie against Brothers. And then that's at 10 a.m. And then I've got a game at, I think it's 1 o'clock as well. Let's try to think who the other game is. Samura's against Doonside. Might be 1:30 that match. So, yeah, that's out at Samura Stadium. Western Weekend is though, I don't even know what they call it now. It's next to Samura's Leagues Club on Duneverd Road and Bronia Street or wherever it is at Samura. So you'll be able to find that if you want to watch the women's footy. So, and all those games are on Bar TV if you want to catch him. Troy, thanks very much for your time. Appreciate it very much. And let's see what happens this weekend in footy and see who New South Wales picks for the Origin when it comes round to Monday this weekend.
Yeah, not a problem, Duckman. Thank you very much for having me. Enjoy your footy this weekend, everybody, and hopefully I and many others can get some tips right moving forward. I'm 0 from 2 at the moment, so hopefully it starts now in this South Brisbane game. But thanks for having me, and we'll chat soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Troy.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Parramatta Podcast. See you next time.